Have a nice day. Today is Tuesday, 25th of February 2025. Internationally, this day is famous for the celebration of Mother Language Day. International Mother Language Day celebrates the importance of preserving linguistic diversity and promoting mother language tongues. UNESCO first proclaimed the day, and the United Nations General Assembly later adopted it. Multilingual education helps learners and fosters a deeper connection between the education and culture. Now, starting the newspaper of the world news, including Trump says Canada-Mexico trade tariff is going forward despite border fentanyl of efforts. Peace must not mean surrender of Ukraine, says French President Macron alongside the Trump at the White House. The United States is joining Russia to vote against a United Nations resolution on Ukraine war. India and China abstain. Pope Francis like critical but shows slight improvement. Vatican says a China firm threatened to have fire single divorce to employees. What happened next? From Macron hold attacks at the White House on Ukraine. Now, starting with the Hindu newspaper, United Nations Security Council adopts a neutral United States stance on Ukraine war without mentioning Russian aggression. Members of the Security Council cast a vote during the United Nations Security Council meeting on third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States on February 24, 2025. Russia's United Nations Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia acknowledged constructive changes in the United States' position on the conflict. The United Nations Security Council on Monday, February 24, 2025 adopted a United States drafted resolution on the third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine that takes a neutral position on the conflict as the United States President Donald Trump seeks to broker peace. The short resolution reflects President Trump's upending of United States policy on Ukraine after taking office last month and his more conciliatory stance towards Russia, in contrast to former President Joe Biden's administration-led efforts at the United Nations to support Ukraine throughout the war. Russia's United Nations Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia acknowledged constructive changes in the United States' position on the conflict. He told the Council the resolution was not an ideal one, but a starting point for future efforts towards peaceful settlement. The 15-member United Nations Security Council has been deadlocked throughout the war and unable to take any action because Russia holds a veto. But the 193-member General Assembly had repeatedly supported Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and called for a just, lasting, and comprehensive peace in line with the United Nations Charter. The U.S. failed earlier on Monday to convince the General Assembly to pass the same three-paragraph resolution adopted by the Security Council. The United States refuses to blame Russia for Ukraine war, splitting with the European allies in the United Nations votes. Supporters of Ukraine rally in Times Square to mark the 3-year anniversary of the invasion by Russia on February 24, 2025 in the New York City. In a dramatic shift in transatlantic relations under the President Donald Trump, the United States has split with its Europe allies by refusing to blame Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and votes on 3 United Nations resolutions seeking an end to the 3-year war. In a dramatic shift in the transatlantic relations under the President Donald Trump, the United States split with its European allies by refusing to blame Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and votes on 3 United Nations resolutions on Monday, February 24, 2025, seeking an end to the 3-year war. The growing divide follows Trump's decision to open direct negotiations with Russia on ending the war, dismaying Ukraine and its European supporters by excluding them from the preliminary talks last week. Telangana tunnel collapse. Live updates. Right miners of Uttarkashi Selikyara tunnel fame roper in for rescue at SLBC site. Members of the National Disaster Response Force team carried their equipment during their rescue operation outside the Sirisalem left bank canal SLBC tunnel after the portion of a tunnel collapsed in Nagar Kurnool district in Telangana. Advanced equipment including endoscopic and robotic cameras has intensified the rescue of reports to assist in the ongoing efforts at the Sri Salem left bank canal SLBC tunnel collapse site on Tuesday, February 25, 2025. A team of expert right miners known for their successful rescue operation in the Uttarkash's Silikara Ben Barkot tunnel collapse last year has arrived at Domala Penta in a district on Tuesday, February 24, 2025 to assist in the ongoing efforts at the Sri Salem Left Bank Canal. Sri Salem Left Bank Canal SLBC tunnel collapse site. A right hole mining, a method of extracting coal through a small pits, was banned in 2014 for being unscientific. However, when advanced machinery failed to rescue our workers trapped in a tunnel in Uttarkashi for 16 days, expert manual miners, known as right miners, were called in using hand tools. They successfully reached the stranded workers and facilitated their escape. Now, going to the Hindustan Times newspaper states that Kolkata earthquake 5.1 magnitude earthquake hits Bay of Bengal. Tremors felt in Kolkata, other places. An earthquake of magnitude 5.1 hit by the Bay of Bengal on Tuesday morning, with the tremors felt in Kolkata and several parts of West Bengal. Kolkata earthquake updates. An earthquake of magnitude 5.1 hit the Bay of Bengal on Tuesday morning, with the tremors felt in Kolkata and several parts of West Bengal. The National Center for Seismology (NCS) reported that the quake occurred at 6:10 a.m. An Indian Meteorological Department official told the news agency PTI that said the earthquake was recorded near the Puri in the Odisha. The quake occurred at a depth of 91 km in the Bay of Bengal, the official said. The tremor was recorded at a latitude of 19.52 north and longitude of 88.55 east, he added. Though the earthquake tremors caused momentary panic among the residents of Kolkata, no immediate reports of damage or casualties have surfaced. Earthquake of M5.1 on 25 February 2025, 6:10:25 Indian Standard Time, latitude of 19.52 north, longitude of 88.55 east, depth of 91 km, location Bay of Bengal. The NCS posted on X platform. Modi makes Bihar page with a focus on farmers. Bhagalpur Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday accused the Rashtriya Janata Dal (RJD) of ushering in jungle rule in Bihar and praised the National Democratic Alliance and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar for effecting a turnout virtually, sounding the poll budget for assembly elections scheduled later this year. Modi was speaking of her releasing around 22,000 crore rupees into accounts of around 98 million farmers across the country through direct benefit transfer (DBT) from Bhagalpur as the 19th installment under the PM Kisan scheme. But apart from disbursing money to farmers and underlining his government's agricultural achievements, his speech and his joint rally with Kumar clearly kicked off a political campaign for high-stakes assembly polls likely to be held in October and November. United States skips key climate meet, fanning fears it will teach United Nations framework. Smoke billows from an oil refinery in Kawasaki, southwest of Tokyo. New Delhi, the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change (IPCC) are meeting in Hangzhou, China, opened on Monday with the reports that the United States has withdrawn from the seventh assessment cycle presently underway, with the Trump administration announcing its withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. Its absence in Hangzhou suggests that the United States could withdraw from the United Nations Climate Convention itself. IPCC, the main United Nations body for assessing the science related to climate change, reported by hundreds of leading scientists globally, did not comment on United States withdrawal immediately. Responding to query from Hindustan Times on how the United States absence would impact progress of IPCC's work, said all 195 IPCC member countries who receive invitations to IPCC plenaries. The composition of delegations and their attendance of these meetings are decisions made by the respective governments. As IPCC sessions are closed, we do not risk the presence, absence, or attendance of delegates. The list of delegates will be published as usual in the report of the meeting in due course. What this essentially means is that our United States scientists will not participate in the IPCC's review, and the United States will not be contributing funding to IPCC. In a parallel climate change, IPCC is meeting in Hangzhou to finalize the outlines of the free working group contributions to the 7th assessment report AR7 and the methodology report on carbon dioxide removal technologies, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. These are due in 2028. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, India, United Kingdom proposed a free trade agreement or talks set to resume today after 8 months. Trump tariffs in to impart urgency to deal. Prior to opening of the 15th round of the negotiations, United Kingdom Secretary of the State for Business and Trade, Jonathan Reynolds, will hold a bilateral meeting with the conference and the industry minister Piyush Goyal. The negotiations on the India-United Kingdom free trade agreement start in the January month of 2022, and it deals with the 26 chapters or policies area. Life insurers report up at 400 bps margin comprehension in Q3 on new surrender value norms. VLIP's surge. Iradi had said in a circular that every policy offered by a life insurer under a non-linked platform which has acquired a surrender value should not lapse by reason of non-payment of further premiums. Insurers had asked Iradi to revise the surrender value regulations and extend the deadline to comply with the norms. In a shadow of United States tariff, India back to a table for trade talks with the United Kingdom, European Union. The trade deal with the United Kingdom talks for which began in 2022 assumes significance as it would be India's first full-fledged agreement with the Western country, facilitating deeper economic integration with the major global service sector leader. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal meets with the United Kingdom's Business and Trade Secretary Jonathan Reynolds in New Delhi. Now going to the science and tech, we have emissions intensity targets to be released by month end. Industries will have a year to put in place compliance measures to cut emissions. Trading in carbon credits likely to begin by October 2026. The government is expected to announce emissions intensity targets for 9 industrial sectors by the end of the month, a crucial step to operationalize India's carbon trading scheme. Following this, these industries will have a year to put in place compliance measures to cut emissions, and trading in the carbon credits is likely to begin by October 2026. Saurabh Didia, Director Bureau of Energy Efficiency (BEW) under the Union Minister of Power, told The Hindu on the sidelines of the conclave here on India's carbon markets. Despite a notification by the BEW in June month of 2023 announcing a carbon credit trading scheme, CCT assigned follow-up a notification in the March month of 2024 on the industrial sectors that will have to mandatorily comply. Emissions intensity targets still have not been specified. Without these, it will not be possible to generate or trade carbon credits. India's climate policy is expected to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by around 4 billion tons by 2030 report. The Indian carbon market establishes a framework to reduce, removal, and or avoid greenhouse gas emissions (GHG) from the Indian economy. It achieves this by pricing greenhouse gas emissions reduction through the trading of carbon credit certificates. Different types of carbon markets exist globally. In European emission trading market, every carbon credit represents a ton of carbon dioxide prevented from getting into the atmosphere. Its price fluctuates and is determined by the weather companies, which must comply with the government mandated emissions caps. Manage to meet them or choose to buy credits from the companies that have cut more emissions than they are required to. These carbon credits can then be traded like shares. In the case of India, industries will not be required to cut carbon emissions. Rather, they must have produced their goods, for example, a kilogram of steel more efficiently. This can mean implementing technology that will burn, say in this instance, less coal to produce that same kilogram of steel, or recover the heat from the burning or kilo of steel and reusing it. The issue of India's economic growth versus emissions as a part of the climate commitments. India has said it will reduce the emissions intensity of its GDP at a 45% of 2005 levels by 2030. It sees its carbon markets as a step towards achieving that. The government expects that not all Indian industries, particularly small and medium enterprises, will be able to comply and therefore expects to give them more leeway. As a part of the compliance mechanism, there will be a gradual implementation of carbon reduction targets with a 40% reduction by 2027 and the remaining by 2030, Akash Tripathi, Additional Secretary of Ministry of Power, said at a conclave. Supreme Court says segregation of waste at source is vital for environmental health. National Capital Region (NCR) states are ordered to file affidavits by the end of the March explaining the level of the compliance of their urban bodies with the 2016 rules. The Supreme Court on Monday, February 24, 2025, said segregation of garbage sites at home and it is a practice which is a vital of importance for the well-being of the environment. A bench of Justice A.S. Oka and Ujoel Uchal Bhuyan asked the National Capital Region (NCR) states of the Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan how smart cities projects and bicycle by the governments could actually become a reality unless there was a proper segregation of waste at the source in compliance with the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016. The court's amicus curiae, senior advocate Aparajita Singh, said even waste-to-energy projects consider a solution to raise the state of its piles of garbage and put it for productive use would collapse without segregation. Ms. Singh said that NCR had registered a low percentage of segregation of waste. Bio-waste is mixed with the plastic in many households. If there is no proper segregation, even waste-to-energy projects will create a more pollution, Justice Oka agreed. Physicists propose a tabletop experiment to test gravity's quantumness. If a system undergoes a measurement induced collapse, it is said to live by the rules of the quantum mechanics. Classical systems like falling apples or planet orbiting stars don't do this. Scientists, including those associated with the Kolkata's Bose Institute, have devised a new way to check whether gravity is quantum mechanical using nanocrystals. General relativity and quantum mechanics are two highly successful theories. The former explains gravity and the later term teams up with the special relativity to describe the other three forces of nature: electromagnetic, strong nuclear, and weak nuclear. However, scientists don't know how gravity fits into quantum mechanics. In fact, they have been proposing experiments that can test the quantumness of gravity. On October 29, 2024, one of such proposals appeared in the Journal of Physical Review Letters. Coastal mangroves can mitigate tsunami, cyclones, and floods. Mangrove cover in the Mumbai-Gorai region. The IIT Bombay study shows that bioshields significantly reduce the damage caused by the tsunamis to coastal infrastructure and also act as a carbon sinks. The coastal mangroves act as a bioshield against a national catastrophic disaster, including the cyclones and flooding. Researchers have said that if the mediate natural barriers along India's coastline, including the mangroves, did not exist, destruction by tsunami and coastal floods could have been more. Constructing sea walls is possible, but they are expensive and may disrupt natural processes. In the recent study, a team of researchers from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, IIT Bombay, focused on evaluating how emergent coastal vegetation acts as a natural barrier against the impact of tsunamis. Coastal flooding harms different trees species differently. Study. The team included Professor Mana Behra, Department of Civil Engineering and Center for Climate Studies, IIT Bombay, Associate Professor Amin Hyderabad, Department of Civil Engineering, Monash University, Australia, and Aditya Gupta, Research Scholar, IIT Bombay, Monash Academy of IIT Bombay, currently working as a researcher at the School of Environmental, Civil, Agricultural, and Mechanical Engineering at the University of Georgia, United States. Now at last, there's a famous personality of India, Zakir Hussain Khan, born on 8th of February 1897 up to 3 May 3rd of May 1969, was an Indian educationist and a politician who served as the Vice President of India from 1962 to 1967. and President of India from 13 May 1967 until his death on 3 May 1969. Born in Hyderabad in an Afridi Pashtun family, Hossain completed his schooling in Etawah and went to study at the Mahmadian Anglo-Oriented College and the University of Berlin, from where he obtained a doctoral degree in economics. A close associate of Mahatma Gandhi, Hussain was a founding member of the Jamia Millia Islamia, which was established as an independent national university in the response to the non-cooperation movement. He served as the University of Vice-Chancellor from the 1926 to 1948. In 1937, Hussain chaired the Basic National Education Committee, which framed a new educational policy known as the Nai Talim, which emphasized free and compulsory education in the first language. He was opposed to the policy of separate electorates for Muslims, and in 1946, the Muslim League under the Muhammad Ali Jinnah vetoed a proposal by the Indian National Congress to include Hussain in the interim government of India. Following independence and the partition of India, Hussain stayed in India in 1948, was appointed as Vice Chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University, which he helped retain as a national institution of higher learning. For his services to education, he was awarded the Padma Vibhushan in 1954 and was made a nominated member of the Indian Parliament during 1952 to 57. Hussain served as the governor of Bihar from 57 to 62 and was elected vice president of India in 62. The following year, he was conferred the Bharat Ratna. He was elected president in 1967, succeeding Sarvepalli Radhakrishna, and became the first Muslim to hold the highest constitutional office in India. He was also the first incumbent to die in office and had the shortest tenure of any Indian president. His mazar lies in the campus of the Jamia Millia Islamia in Delhi, an author and translator of several books into the Urdu and a prolific writer of children's books. Hussain has been commemorated in India through a postage and stamps and several educational institutions and libraries and roads, and Asia's largest rose garden that have been named after him in Chandigarh. Zakir Hussain says a very famous quotation. He says that life is immense, comprehensive and dynamic. It includes spirit and matter and idealism and pragmatism, and rotates around the axis of the noble and the ignoble. Life strives for higher ends. It's a mission, a service, and finally a worship. Okay, thank you.